city of Philly, where the birds take flight. Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Coach Markus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Fly guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. I like an eagle soaring in the sky. Coach Markus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soaring in the sky. Coach Markus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are almost at T-minus. The countdown is here. It is almost draft day.
Yes.
What's good with you, Tone?
Oh man, I feel great. I feel good. Just got back from the gym, man. Feel great. I'm ready to talk football, man. I'm ready to talk about these Philadelphia Eagles. I'm ready to talk about what's going on in the NFL. I'm ready to talk about this NFL draft, man. We are here. We are at the starting line, and I think the draft is probably going to be. I feel like we say this every year. It's going to be more exciting than we think, but I'm actually prepared for the Philadelphia Eagles to have a more boring draft than what people expect. And when I say boring, I mean I don't see them doing anything too far from who they are. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to let the draft come to them the way they have the past several seasons. I was reviewing the Philadelphia Eagles draft picks on Sunday with my man Hada from Diamond Crew Sports, the Diamond Crew podcast. Shout out to him.
Yeah, I tapped into that for a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. We was going over some of the picks, and in particular in the Nick Sirianni era, or since 2020, however you want to look at it, the Philadelphia Eagles haven't truly made the biggest splashes on draft night. The biggest splash was the A.J. Brown trade, obviously. But other than that, they've never truly moved but so far from their positioning. They've always allowed it to come to them.
Yeah, everything fell to us.
We've seen them move a pick up.
Yeah.
We've seen them move a pick back. Right? You know, they moved the pick up, swapped with Chicago to get Jalen Carter. They moved 2 picks up, swapped with Dallas to get Devontae Smith. They moved a pick up to get Jahad Campbell from pick 32 to 31 with KC. They moved up and KC got their offensive lineman. They've been if you want to count day 2, they even moved up a little bit just to get Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
Quinyon, they stayed pat. Right? So Jordan Davis, they stayed pat. They had 2 first-round draft picks in that draft. They sent one to Tennessee. So the Philadelphia Eagles have always been in control on draft night, and they've never truly deviated or overshot their mark. And I don't anticipate them to do that this Thursday.
If Howie doesn't make a move by pick number 8, then nothing's going to happen.
Wow, pick number 8, that's high.
But well, I'm saying that because he's got to do something, and I'm looking specifically at the teams like that need a tight end. If they're going to make a move, they're going to make it for Keon Sadiq. That's the only person. The offensive tackles we're probably looking at, or we will most likely draft at 23, will be available at 23 and in the second round. So if there's anybody that we would make a splash for, it would be Keon Sadiq.
You think you think the chasm is that wide? You think the canyon is that wide between Keon Sadiq and the number 2 or number 3 ranked tight end in this draft?
Yes, because you can use Keon Sadiq as a wide receiver. You can't use some other tight ends as a wide receiver.
Mm.
They're good tight ends, but when you're dealing with that type of speed at 6'3" and 200, damn near 250 pounds, you can't, in my opinion, you can't ignore that speed at that position where we need somebody in that position, because we know Dallas is not going to be here. We know Granderson is not the answer, and some of the other guys that we have, they're just guys. This guy's a stud at that position, and they don't usually. I'm comping him with Vernon Davis, bro.
Mm.
Same size, same speed, same athletic ability. He's a mismatch wherever you put him. You can put him at X, Y, Z, and H.
And flex.
You can put him anywhere with that type of speed. If you line him up inside or put him as you line him up as a slot or a true tight end, he is a walking mismatch for any linebacker.
I think, to your point, what stands out to me the most is obviously the 4.39 40 is remarkable at that size, because while you were talking about him, I was thinking to myself, okay, that's the top end speed. How quickly can he get to that? And I think that's what stands out to most. At being at that size, right? You know, we've seen fast tight ends, but how quickly can they get to that top speed? But this guy, and I just found
his 10-yard
split is 154. It's remarkable. His 10-yard split is remarkable.
That's DB elite wide receivers type speed.
His get off, his ability to get to that top end speed, his ability, because when I think about 10-yard splits, I'm thinking about guys' speed in and out of their breaks. And the fact that he's able to maintain that level of speed and pop and twitchiness at that size, I mean, that alone creates the distance between him and the rest of his peers.
Yeah. So I'm looking at him as he's a joker, man. He's that card in the deck where it trumps everybody. You can put him anywhere and you can do almost anything. He's a playmaker. He's a decoy. He's a blocker. He can stretch the field. He can take the top off. He can do all of those things. And he's a tight end. He can still get down and dirty, get his hands on you, and open up a hole if need be. So, in my estimation, he is the only one that I would think that we would move up to get.
Is there anything about him that concerns you, though?
Nah. And I'm saying that meaning there probably is, but just the same with everybody else. There's nobody in this draft that's got a perfect grade. There's always going to be something wrong with somebody.
So, but basically, what you're saying is there's no slam dunk in his draft.
Say again?
There's no slam dunks in his draft.
No. I mean, anybody that like Cornell Tate and all of them guys, there's going to be something. Because at the end of the day, think about how many phenomenal rookies, regardless of position, how many phenomenal rookies, first-round picks, have played well, but every now and then you're going to get something where somebody says, he's a rookie. He's got to learn those things, but he's having a good year. We did it with Cooper. We did it with Quinyon. Hell, we was doing it with Drew McCouba till he got hurt. So there's nobody that's going to get 100% on the test. Everybody's going to be, you're going to be lacking in some areas, some way, shape, or form. So that's the type of stuff I don't really worry about, because his natural talent can overcome that. And he's got the one thing that you cannot teach: speed at his size. That is uncommon. So saying all that to say, if there's anybody I personally would move up to get, it would be Keon Sadiq. And you got to figure out where you got to move to get it. So somebody doesn't beat you to the punch.
So now I'm looking at the draft board, right? I'm looking at who's ahead of the Eagles pick-wise. Chargers, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Carolina, Minnesota, Detroit, Jets, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Rams. I'm trying to figure out who needs a tight end. We know that so Raiders pick one. They don't need a tight end. The Jets, I don't see them picking tight end at number 2. The Cardinals, they just paid Trey McBride. I don't see that happening. Tennessee, I don't see them picking tight end at pick 4. Giants, I don't see that happening either. They just paid Isaiah Likely, so he's their starting tight end.
Yep.
Cleveland, I feel like Keon Sadiq at number 6 would be.
But they got a tight end though.
Well, Njoku's a free agent.
But didn't they draft another tight end? Don't they have another young tight end up in Cleveland?
Oh yeah, they got Harold Fannin. I'm tripping.
Yes,
Harold Fannin. My bad. So yeah, they're good there. Washington, I think they have bigger needs than that.
Yes.
New Orleans, I think they have bigger needs than that. KC, they brought back. They just brought back whatchamacallit? Travis Kelce.
But I can see Kansas City making a move because this will be Kelce's last year.
I think KC goes O-line.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that the possibility exists because they know Travis is probably out of here after this year.
But they gave him like a 2-year extension or something like that. But
yeah, that don't mean nothing.
It don't. But you see where their mind is. But I think they just gave him that just to show that they still believe in him. But
right,
I think they're on a year-to-year rental with this guy.
They are. But here's the deal: when you're talking about somebody in his situation, he's one play away.
That is very true.
And I'm not. It doesn't have to be anything catastrophic, but when you at that age and you get if you limp your way through a season. It's hard to come back that next season. I'm not even talking about getting injured, going on IR or anything like that. Lord God forbid, I don't want to see him go out like Zach Ertz did. You know what I mean? So if he stays healthy, if he stays relatively healthy, then you asking yourself them same questions again. And you don't want to be, Andy Reid doesn't want to be in a situation where he has to draft to replace. When you can draft now, and get somebody in there that's going to learn from one of the best. So I'm saying all that to say Kansas City is a possibility. Kansas City and the Kansas City, Baltimore, the Vikings, and the Panthers. In my mind, they have the biggest possibility. Tampa Bay too, really.
Yeah, Baltimore, with them moving on from Isaiah Likely, and I could definitely see them wanting another weapon in that offense.
Yeah.
With Zay Flowers. It's going to get interesting. Tampa Bay, they just paid or brought back what's my man's name here? Cade Otton. So I doubt they go tight end. The Jets got 2 picks in the top 16. Keon Sadiq's traits are so remarkable. Him falling to 23 would be interesting, but it's all about, do these other teams believe they have more pressing needs than tight end?
Exactly. And I've been running, the funny thing is I've been running these mocks and I'm only running the first round and I'm just running them just specifically to see how many times will Keon Sadiq fall to 23.
Has he fell to 23 at all?
Probably out of about 5 or 6 mocks I've done, he's fallen twice. And I'm like, damn, it's like that's the possibility. I mean, who's the team that's going to move up and upset the apple cart? Who's going to start the dominoes falling? Because somebody's going to make a move. Somebody's got to make a move to move up, and it's going to shuffle the deck. And if something like that happens, the possibility exists that he could fall, but falling to 23 with a kid like that talent, like he's as talented as him, I don't know.
I just ran a mock draft just now. They got the Panthers taking Keon Sadiq. Can you imagine?
See, that's what I get most of the time.
See, here's the thing, right? I can see that happening for this reason. Bryce Young, they're going to have to decide if they're going to, if he's a long-term answer. They got him a wide receiver. They made it to the playoffs this year, pushed the Rams to the brink. I can see them getting him another weapon to see, all right, what else can you do? Because their defense was decent this year, and I think it's going to be better.
Yeah,
and they had a running game. The offensive line wasn't bad either. and Ted McMillan was the offense in terms of just offensive production at the receiver spot. I can see them getting more help there.
Here's the thing, though. So let's roll with that. Let's say that the Panthers would take him, because that's what I get in my mocks most of the time. Where do the Eagles move up to make sure that doesn't happen? Because they got to do it before they get to 19.
There, exactly. And the Vikings don't need the tight end. They got all that money sitting on TJ Hawkinson. They can't. He's supposed to be coming back this year. Detroit doesn't need a tight end. They got Sam Laporta.
I even had the Cowboys take him one time, but I'm like, the Cowboys going to take that boy from Ohio State.
I don't really see that happening.
They're going to get a linebacker.
Yeah. And Miami's going to get a wide receiver. They just got rid of both of theirs. They're going to get wide. They're going wide receiver,
right?
Because they need a weapon for Malik Willis. They just gave him a good chunk of change. Nothing crazy in terms of the standard of quarterbacks, but they took a flyer on Malik Willis, and they believe that he's going to take that step forward.
Yeah.
And Malik Willis, all things considered, I mean, small sample size, but if you watch the games, you saw that he was in command out there.
Yeah, he played his way up. He earned his opportunity, and I'm happy for him because he
got paid.
Yeah, they were putting the bust on him, and
I mean, he wasn't drafted in the first round. I hate when bust gets bust is reserved, in my opinion, for like first round picks.
Exactly,
like,
I agree.
In my opinion, if you're not a first round pick, then you're not a bust, regardless if it works out or not. You're not.
I wish Justin Fields would have got that same opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, in my humble opinion, I feel like he had an opportunity.
Yeah.
He had an opportunity with the.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Was it the Jets this year?
I just think that I keep going back to that, man, and I look at what Chicago did to him, and I think Chicago just spoiled him, just ruined him.
He had a chance this year, though, to rewrite the narrative.
He did.
He had a chance.
That's fair.
And he didn't make the most of it. He had a chance this year. Like every week, I was like, "Oh, I think the Jets got." Remember, I kept picking the Jets in a lot of the games, right?
Yeah.
And he was just getting progressively worse throughout the year.
It just didn't. Yeah, it didn't click yet. It didn't click yet. So, yeah.
See, the thing is, a lot of people moving back to the Eagles. A lot of people got the Philadelphia Eagles taking that offensive tackle out of Alabama, Caden Proctor.
Proctor, or what's the kid from Arizona State?
Max
Yannickor. Yeah. So we got I think there's a plethora of offensive linemen, interior and tackles. I can see how we take the first two picks being a tackle and an interior lineman. I can see that happening.
It's not a far cry, because Howie knows how this game is won at the end of the day. This game is won in the trenches. And I could definitely see Howie Roseman doubling down on the trenches with the first three picks of the draft. I could see him going offensive line, edge, offensive line. I could see him going O-line, edge. I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah.
And then, Keon Sadiq sounds like the right move. And if they drafted him, I wouldn't be upset.
Nah.
But I just feel like Howie Roseman is not going to deviate that far.
Yeah. Dave, I like Delp too. I like Delp, but I like Keon Sadiq's speed more. So
yeah, I look at Harry Roseman as a guy who, he has pivoted, right? He has zigged when people thought he was zag. He has. Like, for example, going cornerback in back-to-back picks in the 2024 draft. We
paid dividends.
We didn't expect that. I didn't, at the very least.
Yeah.
We didn't expect him to draft a linebacker in the first round with Jahad Campbell. I didn't expect that.
Also, look at this, Tone. Is it safe to say the writing is on the wall for AJ Brown?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was just talking about this on Sunday with Hada. I think, at this point, if it happens, it is what it is. The narrative right now is the Eagles are going to be progressively worse without AJ Brown.
Right.
And look, when you lose a player like that, you have to replace that production.
Right. And who you gonna get? We killed two birds with one stone with Keon Sadiq. You get the playmaker with the big body and the speed and everything that you had in AJ Brown, except just a tad bit faster and a little bit bigger, right?
And to your point, I
and
think
then you get the playmaker. You need somebody that's more than just a guy.
If they go skill position on day one, it's guaranteed he's gone. That's guaranteed. If they go skill position day one, because you got to replace the production. They've gotten deeper at receiver. Don't get me wrong. They've gotten deeper technically, but you need somebody young, cross-control contract that you can really pour into and develop.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Frado, I'm not even mad at that logic. You know, he says, I still don't think AJ is gone until I see it. I don't care how much smoke. Let me see us draft Sadiq or some other wide receivers first 2 rounds. I think to your point, if they go skill position day one, yeah. And I also think the skill position guy you draft, you want to mirror his skill set and archetype from Devontae Smith. You don't want him to be a carbon copy. You want to give defenses a different body to prepare for. And that's why AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, that combo works so well. They play the position so differently, forces defenses to play you differently. And you got to account for that.
Yeah, but also to think about when I'm guilty of this too. I have to remind myself to factor in Sean Mannion. He's not calling the offense as we saw it last year.
Correct.
And the previous years. He's doing something different. He's doing the zone reads. He's doing the under center. He's doing a lot more play action. He's doing sets with 2 tight ends. So Keon Sadiq would benefit what Sean Mannion is trying to do. I mean, quiet as kept. If you want to think about it like this, Keon Sadiq, I don't even like saying this. Keon Sadiq could be the kind of kid that would get Sean Mannion a head coaching gig.
Unfortunately, if we expect the Eagles to do what we expect them to do, then he's going to become a head coach in 2 to 3 years.
Yes. I would love, and I'm wishing upon a star, bro. Can we just keep him for 3 years? Just 3.
That's up to him.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm like, can we just, for some reason, in one way, shape, or form, can we have a good run and we still be able to keep him so we can keep the same voice on the sideline with Jalen Hurts for longer than a year? Can we at least make that happen?
Yeah, my thing is, you know me, I'm all about all money and good money. You know, I say it all the time. And I respect guys who trust in their ability enough to wait for the job that makes sense for them, like Ben Johnson did. Ben Johnson could have been left Detroit, but he didn't like the opportunities out there.
Yeah.
So he came back, and the offense was still electric. But they lost in the divisional round. And then, you know, they didn't lose because the offense wasn't electric. They lost because they couldn't stop. They couldn't get a stop. Right. And Jared Goff was a turnover machine in that game. Their running game was working spectacularly. They got away from it. Nonetheless, though,
Jahmyr Gibbs was killing folks.
He was
early in the year.
Sean Mannion, he's a young guy. He has plenty of time, especially if he's as good as he thinks he is. So therefore, I'm always one to really like grow my roots and then venture off. That's what I would like.
I hope you're right.
If we can get a solid 2 to 3 years out of Sean Mannion, and that's still no guarantee, you know. So I just ran another mock draft, right? And they this one has the Eagles taking the wide receiver out of Texas A&M, KC Concepcion.
Concepcion? Yeah.
Now, I don't know too much about this brother. but right here they have him as the 4th ranked wide receiver, 196 pounds, 6 feet tall, ran a 4.46. See, here's my thing, right? I want somebody who's more physically imposing, personally. I do. An AJ Brown type. So
exactly.
And to your point, that goes to the Keon Sadiq angle. But Jordan Tyson, 6'2", 203, that's more my speed.
Right. See, I just ran a mock, and then Pittsburgh picked him up. Pittsburgh picked him up at 21.
Interesting.
Pittsburgh don't need a tight end. Pittsburgh need to get a quarterback.
Yeah, this draft at pick 21 has Pittsburgh taking the guard out of Penn State. Yeah. Oliver Vega Ione.
See, it's a pretty good crop. Right now, Eli Stowers is staring at me. The tight end from Vanderbilt. But I'm like, if it's not Keon Sadiq,
you don't go tight end
in the first round, just go ahead and get Proctor.
Yeah.
Would you take Blake Miller over Proctor?
Ooh. Let me see something. Because I spoke about how talented Proctor is. The only thing about his game that people criticize is the arm length. And me and you broke that down. Yeah. As far as at the end of the day, you can always find a hitch in these guys' games. At the end of the day, it's about where they go, how they get coached, so on and so forth. But to your question, Blake Miller, 317, 6'7", Caden Proctor, 352, 6'7". It's about a 35-pound difference.
I would go with Blake Miller.
Now, Blake Miller, you don't have to get him in the first round. You can get him in the second.
He ranked ahead of Proctor.
Not what I'm looking at.
See, I got this one. I'm on the PFF. They got Blake Miller ranked 25th and Proctor ranked 27th.
And I'm on NFL Draft Buzz.
Yeah,
they got Proctor as the 3rd best offensive tackle in this draft.
Yeah, it all depends on who you're talking to. So everything that I've seen, Proctor has been the guy to get, and Ionacor is right behind him.
See, in this one, they got Proctor ranked 8th. The bottom line is, I think there's a lot of talent at offensive tackle this year.
Do you think they're gonna do what they did with like with Kelsey, with Jason Kelsey? And they
have Lane involved in that selection, and then so on and so forth. Interesting.
Because this is Lane's last year, bro.
That's what I think. I don't care what nobody say. This is Lane's last year. I don't care what that contract say.
I'm praying that brother's hamstrings can hold up, because he has been out the last 3 seasons. He's missed multiple games.
Let me see. Let's find out. I feel like he played. There it is. All right. So 2023 played in 16 games. They always sit him in the last one. 2024 played in 15 games.
Okay.
So he missed a game. So he missed 2 games, but they always sit him in the last one, and he probably he missed one. I think he missed that Tampa Bay game. That was when he missed.
Right.
In 2024.
That's nothing. In the big scheme of things, he missed 1 game. So that was a solid year.
But here's the thing, right? From 2021 to 2024, he was either a second team or a first team All-Pro. 4 consecutive seasons as an All-Pro. It's nuts. In 2025, he just got hurt. Has not fallen off his game, just got hurt. So with him being there, I trust his ability at all times, but his availability, that's where things get a little tricky for Lane at this point.
And we got 3 guys like that.
And also,
that's why I'm thinking two linemen in the with the first 2 picks is not out of the realm of possibility.
But here's the thing,
Lane Johnson's got to stay on the field. Cam Jurgens has to stay on the field, and Landon Dickerson. has to stay on the field. Let us not forget that Landon Dickerson was contemplating retirement.
And still is. He's on a year-to-year basis with the Eagles, by the way.
We don't know if them stem cells is going to work.
Exactly. Cam Jurgens. We don't know if them stem cells going to work.
Nope.
You arguably have 3 offensive linemen who could be out of here within the next year or two, just because of health, just because they can't do it. So to your point, and this is where things get more interesting in terms of the offensive line, because I anticipate them drafting an offensive lineman, at least one, between day 1 and day 2. I expect that. But it comes to a point where you got to evaluate the guys you have in the building, and their games got to go to the next level. I'm looking at guys that they drafted on day 3 last year. You drafted Miles Hinton. You drafted Cameron Williams.
Miles Hinton, right? he was the guy from Michigan, right?
Yeah, and Cameron Williams is from Texas.
Yeah, I want to see. I agree with you on that one. I forgot about that. Miles Hinton, I want to see him play because I know he's a legacy. His pops was
exactly
played, so he knows how to play the game. I look at Miles Hinton like we look at Trot Jr. I know he knows how to play the game. He just got to get his opportunity.
And Drew Kendall,
yeah,
I like him.
Right, you're right.
I like him as an interior offensive lineman. They drafted him in the 5th round. He looked good. He looked good in the preseason last year. He's a legacy as well. His dad is Pete Kendall. His dad played 13 years in the league, was a starter his entire career, which means he was good.
Yep.
No Pro Bowls, no All Pros, but he was to be a starter consistently for 4 different organizations: Seattle, the Jets, Arizona, and Washington. A 13-year career, you're doing something right.
Not to mention Lampkin.
So when you look at the depth they have at the offensive line position, and again, we're not talking about the starters, right? And I don't even think Tyler Steen's right guard spot is solidified. I don't.
No, not by a long time.
I don't think his spot is guaranteed whatsoever. So if they do draft the offensive lineman in the 1st round, don't be surprised if they take the Cam Jurgens route, where Landon Dickerson. Remember when Landon Dickerson came? Oh no, I'm right. I was right the first time. Cam Jurgens, they had him at right guard that 1 year. Remember? They had Cam Jurgens at right guard, Kelsey at center.
Yeah.
So and then when Kelsey retired, they moved Jurgens back to center. But Jurgens was doing so well. They wanted to get him on the field. They wanted their best 5 linemen on the field.
Right.
So when you think about it from that perspective, right? With Tyler Steen's position not being guaranteed, in my humble opinion, the only person on that offensive line who's guaranteed is Jordan Mailata. So, as far as from a health and talent perspective,
and Jordan didn't play great last year either,
and he didn't. But I expect him to play better this year.
Right, and remember the equalizer in all of this is we have a new system, so everybody's at square one. Nobody has the advantage because they don't know the offense yet. So really, it's going to come down to Lane Johnson is in there, Cam Jurgens is in there, Landon Dickerson and Mailata are in there. But all of these backups are going to have the opportunity to get in there and make something happen.
Yes, and don't forget, here's a freak athlete they have on his roster, Holland Pierce.
Okay.
Holland Pierce is a guy they brought in as an undrafted free agent. Holland Pierce out of Rutgers, 6'8", 341.
Oof. It's another big boy.
Had a crazy RAS score in terms of just his pure athletic ability. Like they have some prospects on that offensive line that they can really develop. Like I said, if they go offensive line in the 1st round, expect that guy to be competing with Tyler Steen for that right guard spot because they want to get their best guys on the football field. But at the same time, I need to see Miles Hinton take that next step because it's entirely possible the heir apparent is already on the roster. It's possible because the Eagles know how to draft offensive linemen. They know how to develop them.
Yes.
And we've seen them develop guys who were day 3, day 2 picks.
But we can't say that no more, though.
Fair enough.
You understand what I'm saying? We can't say that no more now because we don't know what this new offensive line coach is going to do.
Fair enough.
Now, granted, his bar is low. Yes, you have big shoes to fill because Jeff Stoutland is out the door. But if we're talking about strictly on performance, I have more confidence that he will get this offensive line playing better. Number one, just for the simple fact that they're healthy. And number two, that the bar was so low based on their performance last year, they can't be worse than that. They can't.
Although the bar is low, he's not starting in the basement with this personnel grouping.
No, he is not.
There's guys, there's offensive line coaches that take over situations and they got to rebuild that whole thing from the studs. So he has all pros and pro bowlers and veterans in that room.
Yes.
To help get his message across to the younger guys.
Already in place. And not for nothing, that's why the signing of Wicks is so good. Because he has to speak the language. He's the one that's doing the translation. Because he knows what's he knows what to expect coming from Green Bay. So he knows what Mannion's about to do. And he's the one that's going to translate to Smitty and everybody else on the offense. So we'll have to see. I trust that Mannion's going to be clever enough to figure this out and have Jalen under the gun enough. Like, listen, trust me with this. If you do this, if you do A, B, and C, X, Y, and Z is going to happen.
I don't think, and I'm glad you brought that up because, Jalen was seen working out in the city this past week.
Yep, big buzz about that.
Yeah, he was. He was down at Temple working with Scott Loeffler and Quincy Avery, and the narrative is this offseason has been that he's uncoachable.
Correct.
Or he doesn't welcome the coaching. He doesn't trust the coaching. Right. I think that says more about the coaches than him, but because Jalen Hurts is somebody who's been on record talked about being coached hard.
Yes,
and a guy who is the son of a coach, and we've seen a Varian Hurts in interviews. That man's no nonsense.
Yeah,
no nonsense. He's the child of educators. No nonsense. You feel what I'm saying? Went to Alabama and Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley and Nick Saban respectively. No nonsense. Been successful everywhere he's went. No nonsense. Has truly dedicated himself to his game, building himself up from that rookie year up until now. Come on. What are we talking about here? And for him to be working with the quarterback coach that the Eagles didn't retain, and for that quarterback coach to want to work with Jalen Hurts, who's uncoachable?
I agree with what they were saying today. I think Jody Mack said this. He did that to send a message. He did that to send a message. So I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm working with somebody you didn't think I was gonna work with. You told me I don't like this dude. So I'm gonna send y'all a message. So
see, that's the thing. Jalen Hurts is very he's intentional.
Yes.
But guys like Jalen Hurts, they don't give you much, but when they do,
you better pay attention.
You got to pay attention to it.
Yep. He don't speak a lot.
And he's very intentional with who he surrounds in his orbit.
Correct.
He's been working with Quincy Avery for years, though. Quincy Avery is the one that helped him really take that leap from 2021 to 2022.
Yeah. He's in the driver's seat right now because I believe Mannion's gonna have him doing some things, not necessarily that he didn't want to do, that he just didn't do.
Yeah, and I don't think Jalen wants. I don't think Jalen wants comfortability.
No, but that's what I mean. He's in the driver's seat because he's going to be doing stuff nobody's ever seen him do, or at least not often. And it's going to take people aback, and it's going to have some people. They're going to have to readjust again, because it's going to if it goes the way I hope it goes, it's going to open up a lane of balance for Jalen that's going to put him back where he should be. He's going to be throwing the ball at a better clip, and he's going to go back to running the ball at the same clip he was before. And you can still be the dual threat and still throw the ball all over the field. He can still do that. And I think what Mannion is going to bring to the table is, and I've said this before, Mannion is just 3 years from being on an NFL team, going to practice, putting the pads on, all of that type of stuff. So he still has the muscle memory of an active NFL quarterback. So he can literally speak the language with Jalen Hurts in a way that Kevin Patullo couldn't do, Kellen Moore couldn't do.
But Kellen Moore's a former player.
And that's my point. That's exactly my point. And that's not far enough away. It takes years to get that out of your system.
Mm.
And that's the point I'm trying to make is he'll be able to empathize with Jalen Hurts better than anybody else ever has, with the exception of maybe Doug Peterson. Because Doug Peterson was a quarterback. But nope, I take that back. Nope, you're not even going to say that. Because the point I'm trying to make is that Sean Mannion is only 3 years removed from being an active player. That's the hard part that takes a while to get out of your system. Because now you coaching, now you on the field every day. I guarantee you he's going to pick up a ball and they're going to warm up together. They're going to be dropping bombs and, he's going to be throwing to the wide receivers too. All of that type of stuff that quarterbacks do. And just that language barrier doesn't exist anymore.
Mm.
I see what you see, Jalen. I know why you did what you did. I know why you see what you see. Let me curtail that a little bit and make it better for you because I've been in the situation that you've been in. There's not many people like that that's going to be able to speak that type of language. You can always tell somebody, I've been a coach for X amount of years, right? I done coached under Sean McVay for X amount of years. Vic Fangio, X amount of years. This is the Vic Fangio system. How many times did we say that until we got the man? We ain't get the man sitting next to the man. We got the man, and it made all the difference in the world. And I think it's going to be the same thing with Jalen Hurts because you got a quarterback that's been there recently. So I think the meetings and everything going on in the room, he's going to think like an active quarterback. I don't know if Kevin Patullo played the position, or is he just somebody that studied all the time?
See, to your point, right? Jalen Hurts, like I said, they expect a major fall off specifically from him without AJ Brown.
Because of AJ Brown, absolutely.
And I would argue the coaches were too reliant on AJ Brown, not Jalen Hurts. Because I've seen Jalen Hurts hit somebody else plenty of times. Devontae Smith, God, or so on and so forth, going to the guys that he believes is open, whatever it may be. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like you said, Jalen Hurts is in the driver's seat. Yes. And I think the only reason they expect to fall off is because they don't think Jalen Hurts is going to be able to compensate for the loss of AJ Brown. And I think that's going to be their mistake. That's going to be their mistake. And it's going and to your point, I trust Jalen Hurts' willingness and ability to thrive and change. And I trust the fact that Jalen Hurts is so perceptive and he understands where he is in his career. He also is a guy who says in abundance that there's no greater critic of his game than himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that because of where he's been and how and the distance traveled. So that's why I think about this draft and I'm saying to myself, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, if you go skill position on day one, and how he said it, he said he's not going to pass up an elite talent player just to satisfy a position. He said that. So if Keon Sadiq or one of them receivers he likes, because I don't know, you tell me, right? What's the difference between the number one ranked receiver in this draft class versus the number 2, 3, or 4? What's the difference? What's the distance really in terms of production or talent?
Honestly, I don't know, because at the end of the day, the way we do things now, it all comes down to day 40 time. But the reality of the situation is the success or failure of a particular player depends on the team that they are on. You got to be at the right team with the right people at the right time. So just because we mentioned Justin Fields. Justin Fields was a good drop back quarterback at Ohio State. Then he goes to Chicago and they give him crap to work with. Look at what they were saying about Bryce Young. And then he had the opportunity to turn. It looks like he turned the corner last year. We already talked about Malik Willis. He turned the corner. You get with somebody that knows what they're doing and knows how to coach these kids, and they realize that it's not just like, these quarterbacks ain't pancakes, man. You can't just add water and shake. It takes time. Malik Willis, in a weird way, got the time he needed. Jalen Hurts is in the same boat. He's on the job training and getting better and better and better. He's got his things that he needs to work on, but guess what? Now you know what he needs to work on. And we got somebody that's going to put some things in place. So we're sitting in the driver's seat. The only real X factor we have is to see what's going to happen with Cooper and how he's going to handle this offensive line.
Yeah.
But again, I think the bar is low because he could be a bad offensive coach and the offensive line could still be better than what they were last year, at least in run blocking, just from the health aspect alone.
Yeah,
so,
and that could probably it's going to be so important for this run game to get going early because it's going to buy Mannion time to install what he's trying to do.
Exactly.
Especially in the passing game.
The trenches and a good running game covers warts. Kellen Moore had warts, but Saquon covered them all. And this could be the same thing on top of, I believe, Sean Main's going to have an offense that lets Jalen execute better.
Because to me, I felt like the issues with the offense and the passing game in particular was execution, not inability. It always seemed like a lack of execution. And we saw in the Kellen, as much as people want to criticize even Jalen Hurts in 2024, I feel like it was really only one game where we saw the passing game really look like it was going on. That was the Panthers game.
Yeah.
Other than that, prior to that, I still felt like Jalen Hurts was in control. They was moving the ball. They was running the ball. They was running the ball well. He was accurate. He was protecting the football. He was finding guys. That Steelers game stands out to me, right? Where he went, where he controlled that game from beginning to end. That game that game sealing drive, when the running game was actually on that last drive almost non-existent. They were in second and third and long a lot on that last drive against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Jalen Hurts was delivering on third down every single time.
Yep.
Second and long, third and long, delivering.
And let's not forget them games where we were dropping balls and penalties killed us.
Mm-hmm.
Drive killers. Always bring up the situation with the Cowboys, the Cowboys game in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
We gave that game away. Jalen should have had like 350 yards passing that game, but we dropped balls. We was fumbling balls in the red zone. It was crazy, and it wasn't on him. So you got to take the good with the bad. I understand that he's a QB1. So he's got to take the brunt of the blame that comes with the job. But that does not mean when he's good, he can be great. And that's what we're looking for from Mannion. Mannion, can you bring that back out of him?
I think the sky's the limit. The expectation, like I said, the expectation, Eagles fall off tremendously.
Shout out to the Sixers right now. It's 108.
I'm watching the game myself. I'm double. I'm
108 to 92. I got it on my little Apple scoreboard here.
Yeah. They're doing.
Yo, I'm seeing them moving in your reflection back there.
Okay. That's funny. Yeah, I think overall, what we saw in terms of the AJ, what we're seeing at least is people are coming at the Eagles saying you're making a mistake by trading AJ Brown. The Eagles don't want to trade AJ Brown. That's not what they want to do. That's not what they want to do. But he's not making it clear that that's not what he wants either. So the Eagles got to do what's best for the Eagles. Damn, Jalen Brown. The Eagles got to do what's best for the Eagles. And overall, if there's a player that does not want to be here and he's not willing to clear the air, then you gotta do what you gotta do and strike while the iron's hot. If you feel it, you gotta strike while the iron's hot. And you know, I got mad love for AJ Brown, but it is what it is ultimately. And this could
I don't
be,
want anybody here that doesn't want to be here.
This could be in addition by subtraction. It's possible.
It absolutely could.
We've seen it before.
Yeah,
we've seen it before. Where and I think what's being overlooked is Devontae Smith's desire to be great and Devontae Smith's his intensity, right? His personality. Because if AJ Brown is going this year, which is what I expect, you know, Devontae, he had that C on his chest before. He's gonna have that C on his chest again.
Absolutely.
And at this point, he's going to take it as a personal challenge to take his game to another level. And I think Jalen Smitty potentially. I got a hot take for you.
Uh-oh.
I got a hot take for you.
Lay it on me.
This season, Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts are going to put up numbers that exceed any and everything him and AJ Brown were able to accomplish.
So you're saying Jalen and Smitty is going to be better?
Smitty's going to have a better year this year than any season.
Better than the best AJ and Jalen.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my hot take. That's my hot take for the season.
Okay.
Smitty's going to have a better year than any season AJ Brown has had in Philadelphia.
Okay. I like that. It's got to start in the trenches, though.
And I don't think that's as crazy of a take as people may think. I've always felt like Smitty had better hands than him. I've always felt like that. I always felt like Smitty was a better route runner than him.
Yeah, he's slick. He's a slick route runner, bro.
But AJ is so powerful, so physically imposing, and you couple that with his route running ability. You couple that with his hands. But I always felt like Smitty was the better pure receiver, personally. But AJ Brown is so physically imposing, so elite at what he does. When you pair the athleticism with the skill set, you're going to edge, and you're going to give AJ Brown the edge. But today,
because I mean, we splitting hairs, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna always take AJ because I'm biased to the bigger body. Because I've seen enough of Smitty making the tough catches.
Yeah,
but I've seen a couple times where he's trying to get out of bounds and get to the sidelines and he get knocked backwards just because he's 170 pounds. It's not stopping him.
I don't think there's I feel like Smitty is top 5 in sideline catchability in this league. I mean, some of the sideline catches I've seen Smitty make, his ability to contort his body, his ability to go and get it, like he's elevated his ability. His 50 fall catchability has gotten better every single year. Yeah,
because I always remember that one play. I want to say it was against Pittsburgh where he went up and got it.
What was that game? What was the Dallas game? Did you see? He laid out like a table and caught that ball. I mean,
the one-handed joint, wasn't it?
No, that was against the Jags. That was I haven't seen. I don't think AJ has a better catch. Like I don't think AJ has a catch. No, I lied.
AJ made a couple good one-handers too.
No. Hold on. I take that back. The best AJ Brown catch I've seen was Eagles, Washington. Sideline on the left side of the field, on the pylon. AJ went up body for body with the dude, twisted his body, caught it one hand. Him and the ball in his hand is out of bounds. Catches it, spins, brings it in. That catch was remarkable. I think that was the best. That was the best AJ Brown catch I ever seen in my life. And then the best Smitty catch I ever seen in my life was the Jags one-hander in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot. But again, like you said, we're splitting here. We're talking about two elite guys. But I'm not ready to jump off the cliff and say we're going to see a terrible Jalen Hurts because A.J. Brown is going.
Neither am I. And
because A.J. Brown benefited off of Jalen Hurts just as much as Jalen Hurts benefited off of him.
You know what this might come down to? What are we going to see from Wicks and Hollywood Brown?
Yeah.
That's what it's going to come down to, because it's all going to be is whoever's at X, are they going to demand enough attention to force defenses to make a choice? Who are you guarding at X, or are you going to double team? Are you going to have that safety slide over to Smitty's side? But that's going to be all the difference in the world. You couldn't do that with AJ.
Those receivers are going to have to earn that respect. And that's when Sean Mannion comes in, right? Is Sean Mannion going to be able to make those guys lethal enough, or put those guys in position to be lethal enough where Smitty can't get bracketed?
You know what? And I hope that Sean Mannion will not lose the chess match like Kevin Patullo did many times.
That's a big deal because your first 15, 20 plays, all right, but what happens in the third, fourth quarter when you gotta, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And if you're smart enough, you can scheme your guys open. It doesn't have to be a situation where they outrunning everybody. You can scheme them open. You can know what the defense is bringing to you, and then attack the zones or attack the man. So it all depends on what we do. Are we gonna? He wants to run a lot under center. If you run it under center, that means we're gonna do a lot more motion. If we're doing a lot more motion, that means we are not going to be getting a play in with 6 seconds left on the play clock. So there's some prerequisites that have to happen if we want to do the things that Sean Mannion is talking about doing. And I have no doubt that they are going to implement those things to try to make that happen. So that's a good thing. But the next part of that is, if we got the time to read, if we got the time to change, if we got the time to call out hots, that scheme should be able to benefit Jalen. Now, it all comes down to you still got to see it.
Right.
You still got to trust it. And you still got to let the ball go. So, when you look at both sides, they're in a good spot. I don't doubt for a minute that, at least 3-4 times a week, Jalen and Mannion is on a Zoom call looking over film. They tapping into the same server. So I expect Jalen to be ready. I expect Mannion to be ready. And I expect Jalen to have a grasp, he's not going to be adept at it going into camp, but he should have a grasp on the offense right off the bat.
Yeah, I think with the Eagles going to get all these wide receivers and free agency, all these guys that are just twitchy, that can create space, and guys that you just cannot allow to just run by you. I think we're going to see some five wide receiver sets out there. We're like they're going to stress these offenses. They're going to stress these offenses. It's going to be up to Jalen Hurts to execute. And it's going to be up to Sean Mannion to install things that brings the best out of these players. That's why I'm so intrigued about what they're going to do on day one in this draft. Because if they find a way to get Keon Sadiq, and through all this, we haven't talked about Saquon Barkley. We haven't talked about Tank Bigsby coming back for another season. We haven't talked about
Saquon is just killing in the cut, bro.
We haven't talked about Dallas Goedert. We haven't talked about guys who have been very good, been elite on this team, who still command respect from the opposing defenses.
I think we'll be fine. And I think, like I said, I think the offensive line is going to be better just in the run blocking than we were last year. Just from the mere fact that everybody will be healthy.
Right.
And not to mention, are we going to run a tush push again? Because we couldn't run it the way Cam Jurgens was feeling.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to start getting away from it.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
Because personally,
you still keep it in the arsenal.
You keep it when it's like, okay, obvious short distance. Like let's just not play around with our food. But me personally, I feel like it got to a point where having that play, using that play when they did, prevented them from being creative, prevented them from really keeping defenses on their toes offensively. You know what I mean? I just felt like it gets to a point where when you rely so heavily on something, you're not forced to be creative. You're not forced.
Well, we'll see.
And I don't
think they're gonna pull it out every now and then.
Yeah,
we ain't got to run it a lot, but let's remind people when it's fourth and short, we can still do what we got to do because everybody else is doing it. I talked about that today. At the end of the day, it was always us. It wasn't nothing about the play. It wasn't nothing about safety. It was always us. They didn't want us to do it. So,
yeah, because they ain't complaining not once about that play this year in meetings. It didn't even come up.
Not once.
And
not once.
And I just think also what Cam Jurgens saying what he said this offseason about how that play took a toll on him. I just think overall they don't want to keep putting their guys in those scrums.
I agree.
That's one of the reasons I think they're going to move away from it. I'm not saying it's not going to be a feather in the cap or something that's on the tool belt. I'm not saying that. Just because in the toolkit, then I mean you got to use it. You don't use. Sometimes you need a scalpel, you use a scalpel. When you need a hammer, you need a hammer. You need a screwdriver, you use a screwdriver. So I think I just think it's going to be there. But overall, I don't think they want to use it as much as they can because it gets to a point where you're game planning every drive, every down, or every goal to go situation with that play in mind, and I don't like that. Personally, I don't like that. I want you to want to get first down on second down, not. Oh, well, we technically have 4 downs because of this play. When you always keep that in mind, it's lazy to me.
Right.
I want you to be thinking beyond that play on a down-to-down basis. That's what I want.
I don't think that they're going to, to your point, they're not going to dwell on it as much. We're never going to use it as much as we did in 24. We don't have to. And again, if we're blocking the way we're supposed to block, Saquon is going to take care of that. Where we'll be in a situation where he's 4+ yards a carry again, and we ain't got to worry about him dodging folks in the backfield like we did last year.
Right.
So it's all on Mannion. Mannion is an X factor. Mannion is an X factor. I know the offensive line coach knows how to coach offensive linemen. He might not have the relationship. He might not have the relationship with those guys like Stoutland, but he don't have to because it's at the end of the day, this is still a results-based business. I need you to tell this guy to get to his block. Period. It should be easier if we're going to a zone blocking system because they block the zone. I like personally zone blocking when it comes to being a running back because that gives you the anonymity to just give me the ball as deep as humanly possible and step out the way. Let me work. I'll know if I got to cut it back. I'll know if I got to hit it straight up. I know if I have to bounce outside. Just give me the ball. Let me do the rest. That's what zone blocking does for you. I say this all the time. You want to know what good zone blocking is? Go down and go to YouTube and watch Terrell Davis with the Broncos when they went back to back with John Elway. That offensive line was killing folks, and Terrell Davis just picked and chose where he wanted to go. So I'm hoping to see a little bit of that, especially when we got somebody like Saquon that's still a force to be reckoned with. Saquon has not lost a step, contrary to popular belief. That's another one of them narratives that they throwing out there. Like, nah. And that's how I know, again, back to this point, that's how I know people ain't paying attention. If they got the audacity to say Saquon looks like he's lost a step. You never watched our games at all.
At all.
At all. I heard more stuff about Saquon losing the step than I ever heard about Cam Jurgens not playing well.
That offensive line has flown under the radar all offseason.
All offseason.
But here's the thing, right? Because of who they are, they know how terrible they were. Because of who they are and the level of accountability in that room, they know how bad they were. That's all I care. And that's all I should care about, right? That's all I should care about. But it gets frustrating when the way that offensive line played in the running game doesn't get talked about. Because I think, and I said it on the show multiple times, that 2,000-yard season by Saquon did more damage to the offensive line than it did him. I stand by that. I stand by that. I think that offensive line had a harder time recovering from that season than Saquon did. Whenever Saquon had an opportunity, I saw pop. I saw a guy who still had it.
I wouldn't say that, because that season had nothing to do with Landon Dickerson going down in camp on something minor. And coming back too soon.
Yeah, but I think my point is, every time you see a running back with the 2,000-yard season, the narrative is the running back had a fall off year the following year. But the question is never raised, did the offensive line play as well as they did that year? That's my problem. They talked about Eddie George and how he had a fall off, and after the 2,000 year, like, it's every running back that has the 2,000-yard season, the narrative is they have a fall off year the following year because it's so hard to do. Well, for one, I don't expect guys to run for 2,000 yards back-to-back years. I don't expect that. But the conversation is never about, okay, did the offensive line actually play as well as they did in that 2,000-yard season? That's never the conversation when it comes to the season after running backs getting that 2,000-yard crown. It's never talked about. Did the offensive line play as well as they did when that running back cracked 2,000 yards? That's just me. This is my perspective on that, though. But the drafts in Pittsburgh this year, which is it's still funny to me. But I don't know. How do you feel about the draft being in Pittsburgh? We can end on that topic.
I ain't got no problem with that.
Yeah, it's a football city.
Yeah, and definitely football city. They're gonna put on a good show. It'll be fine.
It's just, I guess for me, like,
you talking about that's a city with 4 Super Bowl rings, man. Like classic Hall of Fame level, nostalgic NFL. So it to me it works. It works. You still Pittsburgh Steelers is still one of the better organizations in the league, despite not winning much the last couple of years. But you're talking about a very classy organization, a classic organization, got championships, everything that you want. So why not?
That's a good point. That city has a lot of legacy, sports legacy, for real.
Absolutely.
Hockey wise, their baseball team has been bad for a while, but hockey and football wise, they have been one of the premier cities in terms of just winning in that regard. So look, I mean, no, it's not bad in terms of the culture in the city. It's just, I don't know. Pittsburgh, I've never been in love with that city personally.
No, I agree. Pittsburgh would be like the same if they decided to hold a draft in Cincinnati. Not much going on in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But the people that are there, they would still show up. They would still support. And on draft night, nobody gonna give a damn that it's in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're gonna walk across that stage, dap up Roger Goodell, and put their hat on and cash that check.
Yeah.
So,
I know college campuses down there gonna be lit.
Oh yeah.
And just overall, because Pittsburgh's not a big city, so
no. So everybody benefits.
Yeah.
Everybody benefits.
Yeah. But other than that, that's all I had, man. We covered the game. We talked draft. We talked what the Eagles could potentially do, what they should do. Can't have a conversation about the AJ Brown stuff, right? We got into the Jalen Hurts, Sean Mannion dynamic and Devontae Smith. Like I said, I stand by this, y'all. My hot take my hot ticket of the offseason of the year, Smitty is going to have a better year this season than any season A.J. Brown has had with Jalen Hurts.
You know what that means, though, don't you?
What?
That means Jalen Hurts is going to have statistically his best year as a quarterback.
Ooh, that's possible. It's possible. You know, it's very possible. I think Smitty's going to have a 100-catch season, and I think Smitty's going to have the best season we've seen from an Eagles wide receiver.
What do you think Dallas is going to do?
Dallas got it? Well, that all depends if we draft Keon Sadiq, because if they draft Keon Sadiq, he's tight end too.
Correct.
God is going right to tight end too.
So it's Mannion is the X factor. He's the unknown variable. And I think he's got enough smarts and he's got enough there's a reason why he got the gig. Let me say it like that. There's a reason why he got the gig. So we gonna find out. So we gonna find out.
Yes, sir. But look, y'all, we're about to get out of here. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channels, plural channels. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Pro Fan Talk with Marcus Thomas. He does a fantastic job, man. Subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports. Make sure you guys go check out that conversation I had with my man Hada from Diamond Crew Sports, Diamond Crew Podcast. Go check that out, man. Him had a really good conversation about your Philadelphia Eagles. So make sure you guys go like and smash that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. He's Marcus Thomas. I'm your guy, Tone Seals II. This has been the Bald Eagles Podcast. Fly Eagles fly, y'all. We out of here.
Go Birds.
In the city of Philly, where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights, dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Flying guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. I like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus